the senator, while indoctrinated, could not explain his toxicity.
You should not listen to men's rights advocates if you want to know what they have to say.
Okay, hello, greetings deplorables, and also you elite women gamers, and welcome to HBR News number 155. Hashtag MeToo makes men worry about exploitation and women want to escape them. I am your host, Brian Martinez, and I'm here with my patriarchal co-hosts who look at the best feels, funnies, and what the fucks to discuss Slam Bam Badger style. Prepare your amygdala because we are going in dry. Before we begin, I'm going to ask that you please smash the like button because it really helps our analytics, and if you haven't subbed already, please do so. Finally, be sure to turn on the notifications bell so you know when we go live. Now, let's just dip our ankles in it. So today's Polecat panel consists of Maximilian, I am not racist because Apu is a close friend of mine, Darrett.
That's true.
And our Polecat Punster and Pussycat Punisher, Hannah, Dr. Randomer Cam, Evil Panda, Puppet Master, and Rabid Long Range Rhetorician, and me, the Supreme Doge in charge, back in the sack. We have a pretty good, fun show today. Lots of little stories, we're going to be getting through. So I don't want to waste too much time, but I'll give you a quick rundown on what you can expect. And be sure to continue the conversations that we're having in the comments section and also the live chat. So, you might have heard about the Bully Hunters thing. We already made a video about it on the Breaking Badger, but there have been some newer developments since then, and we're going to be looking at that. Basically, they're on suicide watch as several sponsors distance themselves and disavow them. Actor and badass R. Lee Ermey has passed away. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Ready Player One is irresponsible because it's not addressing the Gamergate shadow. Lawyers and private detectives speak of a spike in false accusations towards men as a means of exploitation. Thanks, hashtag MeToo. Meanwhile, in the wake of that as well, a woman has decided that she has had enough of men and is building a women-only island. And finally, our bonus story for the patron-only after show. Not only do women want islands, they want entire planets. A senior NASA engineer has said the first person to set foot on Mars should be a woman because it's time. And you know that's a really good reason to do anything. It's time. Anyway, if you'd like to participate in our after shows either as an audience member or a participant, please consider becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/honeybadgerradio. And if you don't want to wake up one morning...
Sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, surely, if anything, Venus is the one named after women, so a woman should be the first one to step foot on Venus. On you go.
Except that Venus is an extremely toxic... Okay, all right.
I was gonna say, haven't women been stepping foot on men for all of eternity?
You may as well step on Mars, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Besides, Mars needs women, right?
Yes.
I always thought it was strange that we named the cold, quiet planet after the god of war, and we named the boiling acid storm after the god of love. This is why the aliens don't talk to us.
If you don't want to wake up one morning to find yourself unable to find our content because YouTube finally dropped the axe on our channels, please go to badgerfeed.com. Badgerfeed.com is where you can find basically all the things that we make eventually find their way there. So this is to make it convenient for you guys to go to one place. Stop laughing, dude. Better fix the audio. What's wrong with the audio? Hannah cannot be heard. Hannah, turn your mic up, people are saying. And Mike. Your mic is up? I could turn mine down a bit, I guess.
Let me see what Audacity says. Audacity says, fuck you.
We can, oh, it says you can only hear Brian. Could you speak again, please?
Again.
You guys
Can you
can't.
hear me
You guys
now?
can't hear that. No one else is loud and clear. What the hell? Why is that? What? Say something again. Anybody?
Something again.
Yeah, it's
Something
going.
I'm
in
gonna-
a slightly deeper tenor.
There we go.
It's super quiet. Hannah is faint, is what it's saying.
I haven't been faint in years.
Okay. How about now?
La-di-da-di-da, here's another voice, roughly of the same register as Brian's.
Brian is 3 times louder. Better. That's better. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what changed. I just sort of like I turned a thing off and on again. So I guess that worked.
Isn't
Sorry.
That's like every time something electronic has a problem, that's the first thing. It's like it has a memory of some sort, and you turn it off and on, and it forgets that it was going to be cantankerous and not work for you.
Yeah.
Don't forget to tune in for the blog talk upload, folks, where I fix all these problems and cut out the parts where we have them.
Yes.
Yay!
They're all fixed. The live thing, there's shit that happens, you can't help it. But
And they shall not have kittens.
it's been fixed. It's been fixed. We fixed it. So there. Okay, so let's I guess let's get into Les Stories. I'm gonna go ahead and do the first one because Max's is not until later. Normally I would let him go first because his voice is chocolatey, but
What the fuck, man?
it's just the order in which these things happened. All right. So it looks like everything's good now. It says now do a cappella to prove that you're harmonized. I don't think you really want that. I'm just saying I don't think you really want that.
And you can't do a cappella properly when there's a lag. I suppose you can do canon.
Oh yeah, yeah. You probably
And the
can't.
bridge is falling down.
I do not have a cannon, just for the record.
Unless we do row, row, row your boat. Then you can like because you know the out of sync stuff helps, makes the song more interesting. Because otherwise it's got terrible lyrics.
Row, row, jelly, just row. Oh, something's not working.
Okay. All right, moving on. So, first story of the day. In Memoriam, Bully Hunters. 2018. The Bully Hunters Initiative, brainchild of marketing from FCB Chicago. Yes, the Bully Hunters are from here, which makes me sad. We're a self-described group of elite female gamers dedicated
That's
to...
another belly laugh, isn't it?
It's so it's just I have a hard time saying that with a straight face. I can't believe they were like, so what do we call the force that we're going to send in to eliminate and hunt down the bullies? Elite female gamers. Go find us some, you know. the best ones that also care about sexual harassment online. Okay, so a group of elite female gamers dedicated to hunting down and humiliating online harassers. This group of online vigilantes could be summoned or joined via an online app to dispense internet justice in the popular game Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And the only game that they apparently do it for is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Many concerns about the group were confirmed during a live stream. Due to the immense failure of the live stream and the torrent of criticism and scrutiny from the internet, the Bully Hunters have been losing sponsors at a rapid pace, just hemorrhaging. All right.
It's kind of disingenuous to say rapid pace. It was kind of like instantaneous. You ever see Left Behind with Kirk Cameron? Like where all the Christians disappear. It's sort of like that.
Oh, Max, this might shock you, but I have not seen Left Behind starring Kirk Cameron.
Nothing shocks me.
I haven't seen that movie.
For the record, I only saw that movie because I had to watch it when I was in Christian school. When I was like in grade 8.
It's okay.
I think
Well,
I have seen it, or I've seen.
yeah.
There's more than one Left Behind movie, but I've seen something. It kind of inspired Limbo, that cartoon. that
I've
my
not seen
avatar is the star of.
If they replaced Kirk Cameron with Nicolas Cage, Max, I would have totally watched it. I probably have the
Dude, if you-
DVD.
If you replace anything with Nicolas Cage, it makes it instantly watchable.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so Steel Series was among the first to disavow and distance themselves from bully hunters, stating in a Facebook post, quote, to clear a few things up, Bully Hunters was not a viral campaign stage managed by us. We did not hire a marketing agency to create it. We didn't have anything to do with its execution, content, or messaging. And more importantly, we would never take advantage of an issue like bullying to sell hardware. They asked us to supply some headsets, support the call for positive change, and we did.
Remember the headsets, folks.
Remember
there'll be a test later on. Remember those. There are headsets involved.
Remember the headsets. Sponsor CyberPower PC followed soon after with a brand manager, Nam Huang, stating the reasoning for breaking with the group during a live stream. Quote, what they told us was something completely different from what they executed. You understand? There's not much we can say or do now, but that's not what we were backing. That's as much as I can say, apparently. Gaming chair company Vertigear followed suit and disavowed Bully Hunter on a Facebook post stating, it is disheartening to us that our name has been attached to a campaign that contradicts our principles, and to that end, we would like to announce the end of our relationship with Bully Hunters. The Diverse Gaming Coalition has abandoned them as well, stating in a Facebook post, after the live stream, it seems that Bully Hunters is still an initiative they wish to keep pursuing. However, this initiative does not align with our mission and vision statement as a nonprofit. Because of this, we are deciding as of now that we are dropping as a partner from the Bully Hunters initiative. We believe in their intentions as a company to promote social good, but do not think they approached it in the best way possible.
Man, like I said this on the fucking Breaking Badger the other day, but if there's something called the Diverse Gaming Coalition and they want to distance themselves from you, you got to be a special brand of fucked up.
The Diverse, yeah, they didn't want anything to do with it. And I think it's mainly because they don't want, basically this is a huge fail and they only want to be associated with winners so that they can push their agenda. But yes, it's pretty sad how hard you're failing when the Diverse Gaming Coalition is distancing themselves from your rainbow-haired host. All right, so their quote after the live stream, it seems that Bully Hunters. Oh, I went too back. Yeah. I'm sorry. Even FCB Chicago, the creators of Bully Hunter Initiative, had decided to scrap the project. As this effort did not live up to our high standards, we decided to end the program, but hope the conversation it has raised around ending harassment in gaming continues. Well, it will continue, but maybe not in the way that you hope. Shortly after this, the Bully Hunters website was taken down, seemingly for good. Rest in peace.
Buy that domain name. If it becomes available.
You should, yes. We should buy the domain name Bully Hunters. So, any quick thoughts on that story from anybody? This is just about them distancing themselves from Bully Hunters, basically.
It sounds like Bully Hunters was created for the purpose of excusing or condoning bullying. Like this is just a group of gals that wanted to bully, and they used allegations of harassment as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I first saw that. That's what I thought. Oh, geez, that must be what that is. And then I didn't look into it anymore.
It's not bullying if it's righteous.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, apparently.
The ends justify the means. That's the thing about the tactics they were using. If this were something that were done outside of this particular organization, that it would be considered bullying. Like you would report it. Like for example, I remember back when I used to play a lot of Halo, there'd be like, for example, let's say a bunch of people chose to play on a map that you didn't want to play on. And then that particular player gets pretty pissed and they go and start killing a whole bunch of people on their team. Well, that's in a nutshell kind of what the Bully Hunter Initiative was trying to do in response to bullies, right? But because it's within the context, we want to prevent harassment specifically of women, everybody just jumps on that. And that's exactly why, the Vertigear, CyberPower PC, and SteelSeries jumped on it without doing any research beforehand.
And they're not actually preventing the bullying. They're just sending someone in to win the game on behalf of the person who's shit at the game. I was about to say the person who thinks they're a victim of bullying.
Well, not even that.
This is people who are shit at a game and then decide it's not because I'm shit at this game that I'm so annoyed. It's because everyone's a bully. Mm-hmm. And then they call someone in to help them win the game, and in the meantime tell them it wasn't because they were shit at the game. It's because
I think what you're seeing here is that guys play a game, and it's a game and it has mechanics, and you figure out that, you know, if you fail at what you're trying to do in the game, it's not personal. It's because you didn't get the mechanics right. You didn't do everything that you needed to do better at the game. Gals get defeated by somebody in a game like that, and it's suddenly personal, and there's like hate involved, and they fight with guys the same way that they fight with other gals. And so even if there was no bullying, they're going to turn around and report bullying. But to them, they would think, like, to the girl reporting the bullying, in her mind, the guy getting his ass handed to him by somebody is proof that he was bad and she was right. It's like a personal insult and a big emotional thing. Whereas the guy is going to be like, oh, hey, I gotta get better at this or whatever, because this person beat me. And so they're not understanding the result of what they're asking to be done there at all. They're thinking it's going to affect the guy who gets beat the same way it would affect them if somebody did it to them. Somebody showed up out of nowhere and took them out.
Yeah. I got some super chats. And this was just a brief story, so I got my lulls out during the Breaking Badger about this anyways. But it is kind of like hilarious to watch this just crumble to dust before our very eyes. Hoki Bukisa gives us $2 and says, Joey Jojo Jalalabad banana front butt. I think that's some code or maybe his native tongue. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
I concur with the message.
Yes.
The pigeon is in the Argo. Wink, wink.
I especially concur with that banana front butt analogy.
Yes, that was deep, dude. That was deep. They Call Me Mags gives us $10 and says, I love when I can catch your shows live, especially HBR News. You brighten my day. Whoa, well, thank you. That's nice.
Oh, thanks, man.
And Joey Jojo gives us $2 and says, Natty Casanova has a fantastic chest. My girlfriend's better. Yeah, that zombie unicorn does have the rack, but I would stay far, far away from someone like that because she looks like she's also got the crazy, and I don't want nothing to do with that. It's not worth it, dude. It's not worth it.
Let me take another look at her rack, though, before I completely write her off. I mean, what? Damn it, I meant to mute my mic. No, I didn't. That was for the purposes of humor.
Oh, hell, you don't have to get involved with somebody to look at their rack, so, I mean, who cares if you write her off or not?
Yeah, it's not a bad rack.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
They're all over the place is what I'm saying. Why not get one that's attached to a decent human being?
Exactly. There you go.
Okay, so racks
that
are
is if
plentiful.
You're going to do more than look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so moving on to the next story. It's another one in brief here. So let me just so we had someone pass away recently. It was Full Metal Jacket actor R. Lee Ermey. He died at 74. I just wanted to express my admiration for him. If you guys don't know him by name, you might know him by this clip. Let me know if you guys. He
wasn't just an actor, was he? He wasn't just an actor. I mean, Kubrick got him on board because he was actually a real drill sergeant.
Yes.
He just happened to be a bloody good actor as well.
Yes, that's correct.
It's true. He happened to be able to play the role of drill sergeant well, and he was in other things too. Here's a clip.
Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that? What is that, Private Pile?
Sir, jelly donuts, sir!
A jelly donut?
Sir, yes, sir!
A How did it get here?
Sir, I took it from the mess hall, sir!
Is chow allowed in the barracks, Private Pile?
Sir, no, sir!
Are you allowed to eat jelly donuts, Private Pile?
Sir, no, sir!
And why not, Private Pile?
Sir, because I'm too heavy, sir!
All right, I'm stopping it for the banana, but you know who I'm talking about. So, I just thought I would share that. It's Full Metal Jacket star R. Lee Ermey died at age 74. A statement from his longtime manager, Bill Rogan, reads, "It is with deep sadness that I regret to inform you all that R. Lee Ermey, the Gunny, has passed away this morning from complications of pneumonia. He will be greatly missed by all of us. Semper Fi, Gunny, Godspeed." So, you know, it's sad, but I just wanted to honor the guy because I like him. If you guys don't know, he was also in Toy Story. He was in the Toy Story movies. So,
A good soldier never leaves a man behind.
that's right. That's
Yep.
right. He played the Green Army man.
Without the
leader.
goddamn courtesy to give him a reach around.
Yeah. I'll just say one, well, actually two things in respect to Mr. Ermey. In respect to the earlier comment about him being an actual drill sergeant, a fun fact about the movie Full Metal Jacket is that they actually had another actor playing his part, and they brought R. Lee Ermey in order to teach that actor how to portray a drill sergeant effectively. But R. Lee Ermey just happened to do the job so well that they just replaced that potential actor with an actual drill sergeant, R. Lee Ermey. And yeah, he was also in Toy Story. He was also in Seven. I don't know if you guys remember that. He's been in several other movies.
Okay, here's who I know him from. This might be a bit awkward. Do you remember the film by Del Toro with Michael J. Fox and the Grim Reaper is like killing everybody? This is The Frightening, I think it's called. Do you know that one? It's a bit of a cult movie. I think it's called The Frightening. Let me see.
You mean Benicio?
The Frighteners. Yes.
What I thought.
The Frighteners. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Michael J. Fox, Trini Alvarado, Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, he was in that too. He was a ghost of a military soldier of some kind. No. So, The Frighteners. It's a good movie. I liked it.
Typecasting. Sometimes it works. And just one other thing. It
was Peter Jackson, not Del Toro. I got it mixed up. I always get those two beardy guys mixed up. So sorry about that.
That's cool. In respect to his role in Full Metal Jacket, I think what everybody here is very grateful for, both the listening in the chat and the people on the panel, is that what he did is he gave legions of immature people like us new and profound insults that we can use. Insults that are just so heavy and so tearing that they stood the test of time. I like whenever it comes to like feminists, for example, especially the ugly ones with the rainbow hair, it's just all I can think about to myself is just saying, woman, you're so ugly, you could be a modern art masterpiece. It's thanks to him that I can quote that to myself and chuckle while I'm standing in the face of pure stupidity.
It really is the gold standard. I mean, it's a large deal of what I do is come up with new and interesting insults, and I always think of those as the kind of the go-to. It's got to be at least as funny as that shit, or it doesn't fly. I bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Steers and queers. All right, so don't take me out of context for that, guys. It's too late. It's done. All right, so that's it. Rest in peace, Mr. Ermey. I hope that you had a great life. And that you left behind a lot and touched a lot of people while you were here. So, okay. We got a super chat. Fallout Armor gives us $2 and says it's drill instructor. Marines hate drill sergeants. Oh, okay. Sorry, I got that wrong. I apologize. Okay, so moving on to the next story. Not Ready, Player One. In Wired's Geek Guide to the Galaxy podcast, yes, that's a real thing. A discussion on Ready Player One, which is that new film by Spielberg, that just came out, leads the panelists to conclude that Hollywood should make movies that grapple with Gamergate. Because Gamergate is so dead and lame and cringe, you guys. On the podcast, they discuss how 80s nostalgia is limiting, especially with people's values becoming more diverse and some groups creating new cultures. For example, the meme culture that has blossomed onto VR. However, more importantly to them, this movie, based on the pre-Gamergate novel, doesn't grapple with issues like representation. The nerd landscape of the 80s was exclusively produced by white men. Carol Pinchevsky notes that the idea of gamers presenting a unified front on anything feels sadly dated in the wake of Gamergate.
Well, I don't know. When Gamergate was around, there was Not Your Shields, which definitely showed to a whole bunch of people that it wasn't just white men trying to purify their nerd culture. In fact, it was people from a diversity of backgrounds, a diversity of ethnicities, a diversity of beliefs. So don't give me that bullshit.
Yeah,
no, we did not exist. We never happened. There were no women and there were no minorities. We didn't exist.
Let's see yeah.
There were none of us, and none of the women involved got threatening letters from anybody. None of the Not Your Shield women got letters that included blueprints of their house and overly conversational, under the radar threats toward everybody they knew because they were participating or anything. None of that ever happened. That was completely imaginary.
It's not like the ginger. Sorry.
As I say, that's why they keep talking about us. We had no effect and did not leave a crater the size of Texas in their egos.
Yeah, it's not like so the leading voices behind Gamergate didn't have their own bouts with harassment. What was it? Sargon of Akkad got doxxed during Gamergate. Mundane Matt, he got swatted. Gingerarchy had her information doxxed as a way of threatening her family. Let's see. Oh yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos had a rat with a razor stuck in it mailed to him.
Don't forget, it ends tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh, why'd you have to remind me of that?
As an aside, and I know this wasn't intentionally part of the article, but when you mentioned Not Your Shield, it does sort of bring something to mind that I was just thinking about. Have you noticed that when the Gamergate as a group or as a hashtag or whatever is brought up in the negative by journalists? Well, first off, it's often brought up by journalists as a negative thing. Like, you don't really hear about it too much, anymore, even though people still have that mindset that are the pro Gamergate people. They still care about the same stuff. They just, we're not doing the hashtag as much. But have you noticed that when journalists are trying to paint Gamergate in this negative light whenever they can, they don't ever mention Not Your Shield? They don't even, it's like they don't acknowledge that it existed as a hashtag at all. And it makes me wonder.
Exactly.
I wonder if, well, obviously it's not convenient for them to do it, but I wonder what the numbers are for the Not Your Shield hashtag versus the Gamergate hashtag in terms of how often it was used. Like, it probably wasn't as often, I'm guessing, but I wonder if it was big enough that it should have been noticed. It just activates the almonds, is what I'm saying. It just percolates my peanuts.
It was big enough. I'm betting it was big enough because it got used whenever race or sex came up. Whenever somebody started, Gamergate's just a bunch of men in their basements, blah blah blah. That's when hashtag Not Your Shield would come up, and there would be, in the midst of arguments, I'm saying this on behalf of women. You got to quit picking on women and girls, and the women and girls in the hashtag. No, we're not your shield. Shut up about women and girls. You're doing this for yourself, And it's the same thing with minorities. The same thing with, I can't tell you how many times, for instance, I saw liberal lunacy Shannon. She got stuck with that a lot too. Yeah, we're doing this. You're ableist. You're ableist. Shut up. I'm in a wheelchair. And it was like, it came up a lot. It came up a lot because those were their excuses for attacking the group. You know, anytime somebody wanted to tear down Gamergate, it was, well, you guys just hate women and minorities and people with disabilities. And then anybody that was in the group that was, you know, a woman, a minority, or a person with a disability spoke up with Not Your Shield. So it was there. It wasn't, it's not that they didn't notice it. It's not that it wasn't talked about. It's that they can't acknowledge. Just like when people talk about the men's rights movement, you don't see them acknowledging the women of the men's rights movement very much either. I know, unless they have a way of painting us as handmaidens who will do anything for attention and stuff like that. They don't want to talk about. They certainly don't want to talk about groups that are led by women. Like we aren't going to get a mention if they can't find a way to demonize us.
Yeah.
You know, because of that. And that's just the way they are. And it's like,
Indeed.
yeah, I'm almost 100% certain that they were aware of Not Your Shield. They just didn't want to talk about it.
Whatever happened to that movie that someone said was going to be made with Scarlett Johansson?
The Zoe Quinn movie that people were talking about? I don't know.
But the more you look at every aspect of Gamergate except the literally who's, make a more interesting story. Right?
Didn't that come out? I thought it was called Tusk.
Let me look at Scarlett Johansson's IMDb and see if she still has it on the books. On the books. Oh, well, no, I don't see it. Yeah, Jojo Rabbit is a movie that she's got coming out. Black Widow, she's finally getting her own movie. Avengers Infinity War. Some Noah Baumbach project. It's untitled, so that could be the Gamergate movie. And another untitled Avengers movie. It's an untitled Avengers movie, so that could also be a Gamergate. Maybe the final Avengers movie in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe will be the Gamergate movie. That's where it culminates.
Because if there's any villain that's more threatening than Thanos,
yeah,
it's Gamergate.
It's Vivian James. Yes, exactly. But no, I guess that might not have been happening. Maybe they missed the boat on that. All right, so, and yeah, there are people who are humongous Watt. Yeah, that was a real thing that they were trying to make, and Scarlett Johansson was supposed to play the part of Zoe Quinn because she totally looks like her. And that would have been a good idea. Okay, let me get back. Let me get through the rest of this article. It's kind of painful. Kent Bai, in regards to this whole story, says, if I were to sort of boil down Gamergate and the trolling online, the trolls start to use other people's emotions as if it were a game, and they perceive because it is digital, then it must not be real. And so it's just a fun expression of their own free speech, he says. Quote, so there's this tension between free speech versus the people who actually want to create safe spaces online, and how do you create the culture to be able to do that? Twitter is in the front of this criticism, Bai says. But now VR is a new virtual experience people in which... What? Is a new virtual experience in which people are receiving harassment. So it's the new home of harassment is basically when Uganda Knuckles says... You know the way. Do you know the way? Then, you know, that's the new harassment. They bring up Jessica Outlaw's survey. 49% of women had experienced sexual harassment on social VR. A movie about these deeper issues and creating a safe space has got to be the answer. Not ready for that, player one.
Is this a self-reported survey where women are claiming to have been harassed?
It is very likely. I don't know what the story is in terms of the. Let me see if there's the study. I think it's just a mention that they give in the podcast. So there's no links or sources. Yeah,
there's no links to it,
No.
so you don't know if it's self-reported or if it's like the one that Pew did, where they looked at the actual text and said, "Oh, this is harassment. No, this is not harassment." That's important simply because, once again, there's different perceptions of what is or is not harassment between men and women, and quite frequently women interpret things as harassment that are not at all personal or harassing.
Yeah, do you interpret tits or get the fuck out as harassment?
Yes.
No. Not if you know where it comes from.
No, I know, but that's how they would
comes from
see it.
somewhere?
There's a backstory to tits or get the fuck out.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, okay.
I think that the women who feel sexual harassment on social VR, they're just mad because they are not the queen. They are the fake queen, and people should spit on them, brutas. That's it. That's the reason. I can understand that.
To this dick. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. So, we're done with that one. I'm gonna hand this off to Max for the next story. So, Max.
Yeah, okay. Well, here's a story that should inspire a bit of hope in terms of, people that are getting quote unquote woke to the current situation as in respect to the dating scene and actually trying to do something positive for themselves. So, before I actually get to that, I just want to ask my fellow panelists and the people that are watching a very quick question. What is the first rule of Honey Badger Radio?
Don't step on Snick.
What?
Don't step on Snack.
No step on Snack.
Also, record everything.
Yes, that is the first.
Always be recording.
Always be recording.
No,
I'm recording this right now.
Don't step on Snick. What the hell is that?
It was just random.
Taxation is theft.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep going.
Is the answer you do not talk about Honey Badger Radio?
Okay.
Wait, we always talk about Honey Badger Radio.
Yeah, no, it's not that. We obviously want you guys to talk about Honey Badger Radio because we want to be successful. We don't talk about Honey Badger Radio. Okay, anyways, the answer is record everything. Why is that the first rule? Because we know what happens when you do not. And so do several attractive rich men living in New York City. I'm not saying that because I personally find them attractive. I'm just saying it's because they're rich that there are some women that are likely to find them attractive, certainly for the wrong reasons sometimes. So a report from the New York Post details a couple of stories of how men are protecting themselves from false accusations, specifically of sexual assault or sexual harassment in the Big Apple. An anonymous technology executive said he has 6 Nest cameras installed inside his condo.
Wow.
Quote from the executive: "He does this to document and provide corroboration for what's happening in his private life. It's an insurance policy." End quote. The exec has done this in response to the effects of #MeToo. Sorry, just let me bring up Brian's screen so I can make sure I'm following along properly. Okay, here's a quote from the article. #MeToo, while giving a voice to victims of sexual assault and harassment, has emboldened other women to falsely accuse well-appointed men for financial gain, fame, or vengeance. Here's a quote from the exec. "Anonymous accusations are now possible, and the media believes a court of public opinion should not hold itself to anything resembling the court of law." Now, echoing this particular executive's sentiments is a private investigator named Herman Weisberg. He's basing his agreement on the increase of extortion cases he has seen since #MeToo first gained attention in October 2017. Now, here's a quote from the private investigator, and just prepare yourself for this. Buckle in, because this kind of shocked me when I read it. "Since October, I've gotten about 25 cases of solid extortion threats. I think in some cases, a few manipulative people are using the #MeToo movement as leverage. It gives their baseless false claims more teeth."
No.
So,
no. There's no way women would ever think to do something like that. They're so pure. It's impossible. What? The feminine is divine and perfect. This is shattering my reality. There's no way.
And they don't have teeth. They don't have teeth in their baseless false clams. That's what you said, right?
Oh shit. Oh god.
Well, they might as well, considering what some of them are able to do. But yeah, 25 cases ever since October. That's over the course of 7 months, and that's just one guy. And that's just for
Yeah.
people that have enough money to afford a private investigator. What about the people that don't? Anyways, moving on. Here's another guy. A criminal defense attorney named Jeremy Saland decided to end his Christmas tradition of grabbing drinks with a female mentee and opted for the safer alternative of lunch. Here's a quote from him in respect to all this. I even think to myself, should I be meeting someone at my office at 9 o'clock at night when no one else is there? Anyone can make an allegation. So that's sort of the state of things for the rich men of New York City who are afraid of being fucked over by lying women. Any thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
You don't
And it-
fucking say. That's
Countdown to when chicks start complaining that they have reduced opportunities in the business world because men won't meet with them for drinks. And they'll meet with other men for drinks, but not with women for drinks because they don't want to get falsely accused. And countdown to when individual women start taking this personally, as if it's all about them and not about the phenomenon of false accusations. Oh, and countdown to when feminists start saying, this isn't representative of the rest of the female population. This is just a few women every time one gets proved false.
mm-hmm.
Surely
Because
the
I'm
whole point-
sure that's all going to happen.
I mean, what's the point in having a surveillance state? I mean, I don't think anyone wants the Big Brother surveillance state that's going on. It's already going on in cities like London, and obviously it's been going on in China since forever. But if there's any light at the end of the tunnel, if there's anything good about having cameras everywhere, it's to be able to prove that you didn't commit a crime when accused of one. But to have this fucking surveillance state around at the same time as a legal system that demands that we should listen and believe women above any objective fucking recording device. Like, what's the point in having all this shit here if you're just going to believe women anyway?
Exactly. I mean, look at Mark Pearson. There were cameras in that train station, and that woman, we can't say her name because you can get taken off of social media or whatever for it, but the woman who was the actress from Game of Thrones, I don't know if you guys remember the story. We had Mark Pearson on. We talked about his story. He was accused of sexual assault of a woman who was an actress that was in the Game of Thrones TV show. He never touched her. What she described that he did was physically impossible unless he was capable of growing multiple limbs and stopping time, which last time I checked, I don't think Mark Pearson can do that. And yet he had to go to court and fight with cameras and everything. So consider that even though we had everything, he still had to go through this long, arduous process, you know? And so I'm like, there's this guy who put cameras in and around his apartment or his condo or his house or whatever. And yeah, I mean, he could still get accused of something, and what he's got done may not be enough. It's just something to think about. And it's mainly because we do have this, you know, societally, we believe women. We believe women. I can't believe that this is even an article. Like, they're writing it like, wow, it's weird. It's like, guys, they're afraid of getting extorted by #MeToo. That's a story. Don't you guys think this is crazy? It's like, no, this is not crazy. this is, you know, I can't afford to put cameras in my house. Yeah, this is what you're creating with this hysteria.
And by the way, Mark Pearson has some balls. And by that, I mean he has some fortitude that's rarely seen in men. What's Mark Pearson famous for?
Fighting against a case that almost got him.
He's a victim.
Yeah,
that's what he's famous for. And I've seen him at a couple of speaking events, and you know, he goes there, and his claim to fame is, "I'm a victim of the system." And even saying those words, it sounds like, yeah, that must be a fucking difficult thing to go around saying, "Hi, I'm Mark Pearson. I'm famous for being a victim." That's what I mean. Women can do it all over the place. Women, have no problem doing it. But I imagine well, I don't have to imagine. I am a man. It would be very difficult for a man to have that be his thing. But it's not a weakness. It's very much a strength. If you're a victim of something and that deserves attention, then you need balls like Mark Pearson. You want to say, yeah, hi, I'm a victim. Pretty much a professional one at this point, but I can prove that I'm a genuine victim of the system. Here it is. Look.
Well, I wouldn't say he's a professional victim. He's a professional alert system. He goes around and explains to people what happened, and that's important. And he has to admit to being a victim because of that. But the difference is, a professional victim is someone like the literally who went to the UN to whine and complain about mean tweets in front of women from countries where their families are starving and their countries are torn by war, and
yeah, Mark
rape
certainly
is being used as a weapon of war, and
he doesn't make a living
he
from
doesn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, and he what he does is go and talk about what happened, and he talks. I mean, I've heard him talk about, you know, what needs to change, and you know, what things helped him out and what men need to protect themselves. And you know, it ends up being this pretty much the same thing we say, is documentation is key. But
Yep.
yeah, the reason we're pointing out that you can get removed from social media for saying the accuser's name is that a slew of people have been, including myself, have been suspended for, you know, we've been put in Twitter jail. I got 12 hours in Twitter jail for this, for 4 tweets. Me, other people, it's 1 or 2. About a year old, when I think the last time Game of Thrones actually trended on Twitter was about a year ago. And we all talked about this case, and none of us mentioned her. I don't know if she even has a Twitter account. None of us mentioned Game of Thrones official account either. We just posted the hashtag and mentioned her name. And all of a sudden this week, there's just, you know, all of us in the last couple of days have been suspended.
Her name is Barbara Streisand. Her
No,
name is Barbara Streisand.
it's not Barbara Streisand.
Her name is Barbara Streisand. I'm doing a couple of different jokes there.
Yeah.
Actually,
Probably the thing Barbara Streisand is most famous for anymore is being a monster on on South Park, and maybe being Rush Limbaugh's code word for bullshit. He says Barbara Streisand instead of bullshit.
She's given her name to an effect now.
Oh God, yes.
If you tell people not to say something, they'll
There's
say it.
that.
I think the Streisand
Barbara
effect. Yeah, I think the Streisand effect is actually the thing she's most famous for now. Like, if you ask a young guy about it, they'd probably say, "Oh, that's the Streisand effect." Like, they didn't see her fucking movies.
And actually, if you're out there and you have found yourself suspended, and you actually have screenshots showing that it was tweets about her that you were suspended for, please send them to @Onero'sGrip on Twitter. You can find me. My name is actually my name, Hannah Wallen, and it has my Gab name on there too. Just send them to me via DM. If you have to follow me and I'll follow you back, do it that way. But I'm trying to accumulate some screenshots of people being told to remove those tweets.
Yeah. Okay, I got a couple super chats I want to get through here. They Call Me Mags gives us $2 and says, "No step." French Honey Badger gives us $5 and says, no step on Sneck." And The Great Indoors 1979 gives us €2 and says, "Taxation is step." which is accurate, by the way. That's quite accurate.
You guys suck.
But why though?
I don't understand. What is this?
Okay.
All right. Well, explain. No step on Sneck means it's basically just another way of saying "don't tread on me," which is a reference to the libertarian flag. Have you ever seen it? I think they call it the Gladstone flag. It's yellow with a snake on it, and it says "Don't tread on me." No step on Sneck, because it's a snake. Get it?
This messes with my autism.
But
way too
guys,
much.
forgive Max. He's Canadian. They don't have libertarianism there. So,
Or snakes.
Or snakes.
Or snakes.
Yeah, so
They have
they
snakes,
you know,
but they don't have any snakes.
the Gadsden flag. Thank you.
It's just good battle advice. Don't step on snake. Like you get it by the scruff of the neck, like in between your jaws.
Grab the
As
snake
any-
by the neck.
Yeah.
I'm driving
yeah,
it.
just look up how a mongoose catches one. It's actually kind of cool.
Just make sure you got its head off before you succumb to the drugs. I mean poison. Just make sure the head is removed and the brain is destroyed.
There you
By
go.
the way, for the record, I actually don't think you guys all suck. I actually love you all. I love you so much, especially for the fact that there's 350 of you watching right now, which is pretty dope. Make sure you hit that like button because
Please do.
If you don't think it actually helps, that you hitting the like button, it's the reason why there's so many of you watching us right now. So thanks so much.
Amazing. I just had a thought. Snek is another way of saying snake, but it's also S-neck. Snakes are basically just a head and a long ass neck. It's an S-neck. It's just blowing my mind right now.
That's deep,
Especially
man.
when it moves.
I had a thought. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the next story. Just
A fish
take
is like a head, isn't it? A fish is like a head floating around in the water.
yeah, it's a fish is
But-
a head with little arms.
But a roly
fish
poly,
doesn't smell
a roly
fish.
poly head.
Yeah.
They don't play baseball. They don't wear sweaters.
oh, you're doing the fish head song. Well, why do they even say fish heads when basically the whole thing is a head? I know they just decide like at the gills, that's where the head ends, but I guess that's where the
I don't
skull
know.
is.
If you take one out to see a movie, you don't have to pay to get it in.
Okay.
They're never. Oh,
I'm moving on to the next story now. I'm moving on. All right.
Where did that fishy go?
Super
Sorry, carry on.
She Island. All right.
What?
Yes. Super She Island is a female-only retreat off the coast of Finland. Activities include the basics: yoga, cooking classes, and nature activities.
Oh my God! It's hell.
The price tag for a week-long all-inclusive stay will likely cost between $5,000 and $6,000. And the creator handpicks the visitors. Of course, no men. Sargon covered the think tank's response to this on his Thinkery channel, which you might remember from a while back, which was hilarious. The super she Christina Roth is the woman who has essentially founded the island, is the entrepreneur behind the island's creation. Originally from Germany, she came to New York. Probably wanted to get out of Germany. I can't think of any reason why you would want to. She came to New York and became very successful in the IT business. But along the way, there were plenty of people, many men, who underestimated her. Quote by Christina Roth. I'm a computer scientist, and I worked only with men. Ergo, how many times did I have to listen to, "Hey Blondie, what are you doing here?" At least that was during my studies, says Roth. She continues, and I think judging a book by its cover, again, that's a cliche, that happens a lot in the tech world. End quote. Roth tells the story of I know, we're getting mad. I get it. Roth tells the story of meeting a new client with many male employees in tow. The client assumed that one of the men were the CEO and not her, the only woman in the group. They immediately went to him and shook his hand. And of course, I made fun of my client for the rest of the project. I'm sure that did really good for your relations with that person. And I never forgot it. Because adult people don't hold grudges. In her career... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You can comment on that.
It's two things. She really doesn't understand the position that being underestimated puts you in? Like, when people underestimate you and then you prove them wrong, they're more impressed than if you just meet their expectations.
Yeah, haven't you ever seen G.I. Jane?
Like, does this not, like, this is something that nobody else gets. I don't know.
I think a lot of men
men understand it.
Men get it because
it's called initiative. In fact, it's usually asked for on a resume.
Like, it just blows my mind. I don't know how people don't learn this, how women don't learn this in school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she never did anything in school. Maybe all she ever did was sit in a classroom and study.
Well,
but I learned this in sports. I learned that the best thing that can happen is if somebody underestimates you, and they only try as hard as they feel like they have to try to compete with the amount they think you have of capability or stamina or spirit, whatever, and they don't compete with who you actually are, or what you actually are, or what you're actually capable of, and then you beat them. But
yeah,
I guess I don't know. I guess this woman doesn't get it, which makes it pretty bad that she's the CEO.
It seems
you
really
kind of have to get that to be a CEO.
Yeah, that's the thing that I find strange. I mean, she built her own business. It's worth like $65 million. She was able to raise a great deal of money on her business, and she's still a victim of something. Like how much? I'm sorry, but I don't have any fucks available. I just don't have them. Now, this gets more interesting as I read more into it. But consider the fact that this woman is able to buy an island. Okay? She is this rich. And here's the thing, too. If you walked into a meeting with a client and you have all your male employees, but the other guy walks up to one of the men and shakes his hand, I personally think that means that you did not have... For whatever reason, you weren't presenting yourself as the person in charge. Because if you see a bunch of dudes walk in with suits into a room and you're expecting to meet with some people, but you don't know who the head person is, like, you don't have a picture or anything like that beforehand, you can usually figure it out by how the other men are behaving around the one that's in charge. You can usually figure it out. So my only guess is that I can only assume that she wasn't presenting herself as the CEO. And that's why, or one of the other men had a stronger personality, even though he wasn't the boss. Or something, Or she should have just walked up and said, "Hi, I'm the boss," and shook the guy's hand, instead of waiting to see what he was going to do. There's a number of ways, to deal with that individual situation. But let me continue with the quotes here. All right. In her career, Roth went to many networking events that were drab business card exchanges, and she wanted a female equivalent to a golf or cigar club because golf and cigar clubs are men only, apparently. Super She is just that. Her, quote, not so secret society of women who share a thirst for living an exceptional life and a hunger for healthy living. After that, turning an island with no electricity, no water, and no roads, waiting for the libertarians to speak up, into a haven for women followed. Next
I don't know how they did that. If there were no women allowed or no men allowed on the island, maybe they made that no men rule after all the work was done.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, something tells me that there weren't women in hard hats building this shit. Just saying.
I just don't think there were enough women that would take those jobs because they don't have to.
Yeah.
No, Clockwork Owl says no step on island.
Not if you're a man.
Hey, man, you couldn't pay me to step on that island at this point. Not the way it's been described.
All right, so her quote. That's about the time the Me Too movement began to grow. It was a narrative that was impossible to ignore and one that Roth calls inspiring. The timing of Super She says, Super She Island that is, was perfect if unplanned. Roth handpicks the visitors herself. The application process even includes a video interview. And while some say, quote, the retreat is elitist and disproportionately counts out people of color, those with disabilities, trans people, or those who are gender non-conforming, of course, Roth disagrees with this and calls it a, quote, totally equal opportunity group, minus the no men allowed part. And while the island might have capacity limitations, She adds that, quote, in the broader Super She community, we welcome everyone. Lel. So, this millionaire woman buys an entire island, turns it into a female resort using male labor, most likely. Like, I would say, I would bet whatever I own on that there are no women built the fucking place. She's also got a boyfriend, by the way. R.I.P. her boyfriend. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? But anyway, that's beside the point. She built an island with her millions of dollars, makes it women only because she thinks women they need an escape from the world because, I don't know, because patriarchy. But then she makes it obviously expensive. It's like $6,000 to go to this thing for a week. It's all expenses, though. It's kind of reasonable, I guess, considering what you're getting. But not everybody can afford it, and of course they start eating each other because, you know, there are other feminists that say, oh, this is elitist and it doesn't allow for, you know, people of color or those with disabilities or the trans people or gender non-conforming. But don't you guys realize this is a woman only? That means gender non-conforming and trans people need not apply. That's why. Or maybe that's not true and really it's just no men. And I think that's actually what it is. So, guys, if you want to go and you have $5,000 lying around and you want to be around women all the time, spend it on going to this island and identify as gender non-conforming, and you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, I'm going. Can you imagine how many middle class or upper class rich white women are there that I can manipulate to my own personal ends? I could turn that entire fucking island into a No Simpsons Can ethno state. Thank you very much.
I wonder how long it's going to take for the first Me Too allegation to come out of that island. You know, some woman accusing another woman. Because I just imagine it's not going to be all that long.
Well, it can't because it'd be a woman.
It won't matter.
They're
going to end up when you create an environment that is elitist, that is full of big egos, and all of them are female. You're going to have clashes, and you're going to end up with accusations. You're going to end up with relational aggression, and you're definitely going to end up with somebody is going to end up getting in huge trouble. There'll be something.
It's a reality show that needs to happen. I don't watch reality TV, but if this is actually something that happened, is this actually an island that you can go to? Is this like out of the planning scene?
I'm not going there.
Right.
Like I said, you couldn't pay me to go there.
Right, but I'm just saying.
It shouldn't exist. The Pope said hell wasn't real. I am offended.
No, but like honestly, I would watch this reality TV show if there's just a camera crew filming women on the island and just watching it turn into fucking Mean Girls 3. Okay,
yes,
that would be amazing.
It would be Lady of the Flies.
Well, that's a movie that's already happening, but this would be the real thing.
Yeah, no. If they did that and they did it realistically, it would be 5 minutes long. It is the first time somebody talked about somebody else's boyfriend, or the first time somebody wanted somebody else's hairbrush or some other such stupid thing, accidentally flipped food on somebody, and then be knocked down, drag out for 5 minutes, and then the whole rest of the movie would be a bunch of girls sitting around on the beach crying and calling each other names.
In other news, the Lord of the Flies remake starring all females are supposed to be coming out later this year. Not that it's at all related to what we're talking about with the Super She Island, but thought I'd let you know. And in addition, I thought I would look up some more information on the Super She Island, and I found some hilarious stuff, specifically their Instagram. So I have that displayed on the page, and it has photos from the island that show, basically the Instagram is composed of 3 things. Vegan food plates, because, you know, taking pictures of your food is totally breaking the glass ceiling and hitting one against the patriarchy, giving that what for.
This is definitely not helping to convince me that this place is not hell.
Yeah, it's all vegan food, because that's what they mean by living healthy. Landscape shots of the place, women doing yoga for some fucking reason. And also really bad art is sprinkled in. So this is all Super She Island, ladies. You know you want to go and basically just be around other women for a whole week. It's not at all going to drive you crazy. But yeah, this is it. This is what they're off. Only $5,000, guys. 6,000, something like that.
You know, when Black Panther came out and everybody, like, there was that contingent of people that were either like, oh, we need to create an ethno-state like Wakanda so white people can't interfere with us. Or there were the people that were saying Wakanda was actually once a real place, even though it wasn't.
It is. It's in Indiana.
Yeah. There's also Wakanda in Illinois, too.
That's right. It says, you're right. It's in Illinois, not
Yeah,
Indiana.
it's in Illinois.
Right. I meant the futuristic metropolis Wakanda. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Sure.
But yeah, this woman is sort of like, she's kind of like that, but instead she saw Wonder Woman. And she's like, hey, I have a lot of money that I'm not really spending right now. Why don't I just blow it on something stupid like this? Let's create Themyscira. Oh, I'm going to ask for that team of men to build my white chapel in the middle of the island where all of us women can congregate.
She could have got women to do it, and it would have cost her 77% as much.
Come on, for fuck's sakes, woman. You're an entrepreneur. Why are you taking advantage of that?
Save some money. Could have saved some money and given women jobs. I'm sure that would have worked out. Oh man. Oh god. Some of this stuff is a little not safe for work. No, they're just drawings.
Who's gonna collect the trash on this island?
Yeah.
Who's gonna take?
They'll bring men in to do it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there are men on the island.
Men on this island, except when there are.
They're in these like stables. And they just bring them out when they need work done, and then they put them back in. Her boyfriend is probably one of them. Just saying. But yeah, pretty. It's not a news story, but for whatever reason, I guess because they're getting close to starting it or whatever. Yeah, it opens up June. So all these photos are not even. They're just photos, I guess. They're not even actually. Many of them are not even from the island. But yeah, I thought it was worth bringing up in sharp contrast to the men getting exploited by Me Too. Women are building islands. so there you go.
Buying islands.
Buying islands. Yes, they're not building.
Building islands.
And getting men to build on them. Yeah. So there you go. I got a couple of super chats, and I guess we close out the show after that. So. Now, let's see where we are. Let's see. Well, we missed a few. Okay, Redicus gives us $5 and says, wasn't Lauren Southern a candidate for the Canadian Libertarian Party? I don't know. Was she? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she was.
Okay, so I stand corrected, although Lauren Southern is no longer running. I don't know if you guys still have a Libertarian Party or whatever.
Yeah, we do. We don't talk about it.
At the moment, Lauren's more interested in that country in Africa where they're actually trying to create an ethno-state for black people.
Yeah.
South Africa, folks. That's actually what it looks like when they try and make it happen.
Yep.
Hoki Bukisa gives us $4.20 and says, I'll take things that never happened for $500. This is, I believe, in regards to the woman, the CEO woman who's, making her little ethno island, gender island. I don't know. Gyno Island. That's what she should call it. And
that should be the name of the reality TV show.
Yeah, Gyno Island.
Gyno Island.
Gynotopia.
There you go.
Yeah. French Honey Badger gives us $5 and says, all right, Brian, you asked for it. If you don't need roads, don't build them. You're wasting resources. I knew the roads thing was going to come up. I thought it was pretty funny that she was building her own roads with private money. That's pretty much what you guys want. I'm for that. Although she's not actually building them. She's getting men to do it. Redicus gives us $2 and says, cue the Battle of the Sexes from Bear Grylls. Oh, yeah. Naked and Afraid. Wasn't that one of the other ones? Or Survivor. They Call Me Mags for $5 says, is this where they are filming the Lord of the Flies remake? Okay. I guess he probably told that joke before us. And Redicus for $2 says, TV promo for Bitch Fight Island. So I want to see how long it takes before it turns into a big fucking honking mess where everyone's eating each other. Because I'm
a bit
guessing
like Jurassic Park.
Oh,
in Jurassic Park, all the dinosaurs were female as well. Life finds a way. Life finds a way.
Brian, did you just say big fat honky mess?
Honking.
Oh, honking. Okay.
Honking mess. But if I said honky, you can't get upset because honky is not it's not really a slur. It's one of those that we can say and it's okay. Chai Smoothie Bowl Island. Yeah, right. Somebody said Chai Smoothie Bowl Island in the chat. It made me laugh because that's what the Instagram has. Chai smoothies, yogas. It's just so basic. That's what it is. It's basic bitch island. I'm just, it's so fucking basic. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take us out. Do you guys have any final thoughts on anything before I do? Okay, I'll take that as a no. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the last, this will be the after show topic. It is very interesting from BBC News, Science and Environment. The name of the article is The First Person on Mars Should Be a Woman by Jim Taylor. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and read through that. And I'm sure that there will be lulls had as we find out how men who were willing to risk their lives throwing themselves into the vacuum of space without knowing whether or not they had a chance of ever coming back alive is a patriarchal construct that excluded women. Yeah. We're going to do that in the after show.
He looks like she's the first person on the Mars diet. Hey,
Nothing but Mars bars.
Now we're cooking. Hey, that's what you can expect from the after show, folks.
There we go.
Become a patron. Patreon.com/TonyBadgerRadio. Hey, I can do it.
Yes, do it. Become a patron at www.patreon.com. So you can join us on the after show either as a audience member or even a participant on the panel. We'll be discussing these shows and we'll, hang out in the Discord and just like talk, about whatever. Also, if you want to, and you can't get into our Discord, there's also the fan Discord, which, I can only speak for myself, but I occasionally visit and drop them links and say what's up. I don't run the fan Discord, but there are people that do that are in the chat right now. If you want, they can put a link to the fan Discord maybe in a comment or something. Otherwise, I could also drop it in the low bar if they send it to me. So, yeah, feel free to do that too. But we're going to go ahead and take off. I want to thank my fellow co-hosts for hanging out and also you guys for coming on and enduring our minor technical issues for the first little bit of the show. I apologize for that. But yeah, so thanks guys for coming on this week's HBR News Show. And we'll talk to you guys next time.